I don't have a clear script to follow for this video because this video is gonna be very insane and very raw for people like us. I wanna be friends with you and I am talking like a philosopher, and I also want you to listen like a philosopher, not like an average junkie. When you're digging deep into these kinds of things like philosophy, like life, as a man, you literally wanna hold some value in the market and you literally wanna hold some value at your home. The first thing that I want to tell you is if you want to live like a philosopher, like the ancient philosophers that were out there, like very strong people, they had mental endurance, they had hardship endurance, and they were the meaning of strength. The first thing that you want to do is to literally have some value so that people can listen to you. It can be made by money. If money is one factor. If you have money, people are gonna listen to you. It's the financial power. If you have physical power, people are gonna listen to you. It's the second type of power, and it's the second element of like possessing power. The third thing is psychological power. And how do you understand psychological power in modern era? Psychological power is literally doing opposite of what everyone else nowadays is doing. Like most of the times, what are people doing online? They're watching porn. They're literally like fucking random girls. Pardon my French, but people are doing this. They're literally just watching porn, fucking random girls, drugs, and shit like that. If you resist from these things and if you just focus on the work, and work is just not about making money. If you focus on any kind of work in this world, you'll literally hold some value in the space of in the minds of people who are doing random things, and that is your market value. If you're a person who's very different from others, if you're a person who's like a philosopher who's living life in a third world perspective, he doesn't live for himself but he lives for society. Like for example, there are people who want good for the society. For that, they will want everyone else to be disciplined, and that's what a real philosopher is. But there are two timelines: one, when you know the knowledge; two, when you know how to apply that knowledge. And it is only the second situation where you must talk about your philosophy, because the title of this video literally says it all, and it is a quote from, the late philosophers. Do not explain your philosophy, embody it. Because when you're explaining your philosophy without embodying it, you just sound like a foolish motherfucker. You just sound like a stupid man who doesn't know about life. But when you're literally acting gradually on that philosophy that you're talking about, people will see the change in you and they will literally admire you subconsciously, if not consciously, that this person talks sense, and maybe he speaks and then he acts, and that is the kind of market value that attracts money. That is the kind of market value that attracts physical power. That is the kind of market value that attracts, psychological power. And one, we're gonna discuss three things on how to embody your philosophy and not to explain it. One, life is very subjective. Everyone sees life differently. But if you see life like most of us do, it is like most of the men, the masculine motherfuckers out there see. Life is gonna be very hard, and we know that life is very hard already because of the mobile phones. And it is very paradoxical because the more the easy life is, the more hard it is for men, right? Because like first let's first of all clear this doubt. When you're living comfortably. A man is never comfortable. A man is never happy when he's comfortable. And if you're a man, like you'll feel this. When you're comfortable, there would be some emptiness inside you, and you'll think that I don't want to live like this. A man is only directed to the works that he does. When you're working, when you're hard as fuck, like when you see life hard, and it is very paradoxical because life is hard when life is easy for a man. Like when you're enjoying in bed, you're gonna feel that sudden, like, you're gonna feel that sudden act of repulsion from yourself is that you're not doing anything, and then you're gonna hate yourself a little bit, not that much, but yeah, you're gonna hate yourself because life is hard, and we already know that life is hard, and we're just comfortable and making life more hard for us. Like when we face challenge, we grow. And there's another video of mine that says masculine grows by challenge and feminine grows by praise. This is the link to that video. And second, the second way to embody your philosophy is to literally just allow things to happen to you. It is not to reject them. If there's a subtle big change that you want to make in life, but you cannot decide that if you should make that change or not, you should literally allow that change to happen. It is not going to do anything bad to you. you're gonna just grow. Like for example, for me, I invested like 100K in my business, and I was just very like stressed, like whether I should invest that money in my business or not. For 6 months I was just very stuck at this decision that whether if I should invest this money in business or not. And I was very stressed deeply because of the failure, because I make money very hard. I'm being totally honest. I make money very hard. I don't want to like spend my money on weird shit, and I don't want to spend that money on things that will like that will just risk all of that money, in other words. But when I noticed that if I never put this money anywhere, it is not of my any use. It will just be stay there. And I allowed that money to get invested into my business. And I'm gonna be very honest, that business is not successful at all. But what happened? My personality changed. And the money wasn't important. I just literally accept that the money wasn't important. The money is not that important. But the personality change literally is, because this person sitting in front of you will, and by God's will make a lot more money than 100K only, right? And that is like how you embody things. That is how you allow things to happen to you. When you allow things to happen and you don't reject them, you just accept whatever is happening to you, and you just give whatever you have to from yourself to the world and to the things, and in the best ways possible, change is gonna come to you. The second, don't talk much about what you're doing, but do talk much about what you're gonna do. And why I am saying this, you're obviously gonna uh, you're obviously gonna seem like a weirdo talking about things that are never gonna happen, or maybe the things that are too big. But there's this subtle kind of visuality that is very important for business, that is very important for making money, and that is very important for change. That you always want to visualize what you want to be. And if you're talking always about money, always about power, always about independency, your mind is never going to accept anything less than that, because you are the man of your words for your mind. A philosopher is man of his words, and his mind is never going to accept anything less than that. And for that, his mind is going to give all in business, all in physical power, and all into everything that he's in. And that is like forcing your mind to be disciplined toward things. And when you're talking about the things that you want to do, you're gonna feel the subtle dopamine release, and you're gonna just force yourself to do it. It is a subtle kind of motivation that is gonna force you to do the work that you don't want to do, right? And do not talk about the things that you are doing, because it makes you predictable. If you know Machiavelli, he always preferred not to be predictable. And why? If people can predict your actions, for example, if people can predict whether you're going to do a certain thing or not, you're going to be less powerful. And if no one can predict what you're going to do in next moment, you are the absolutely most powerful person in this planet. Because at one moment you might be laughing, at another moment you might be on gunpoints with another man in the room. And that's physical power, that's psychological power, because people are never gonna the people cannot suggest or cannot like predict what you're gonna do. Machiavelli always knew that predicting, like getting predicted by people, is powerless. You always want to be mysterious. You always, it is not childish. First of all, being mysterious is not childish. When a person comes into a room and you don't know where he came from, but he still has a gun in his fucking, in the area where you keep the belt, he still has the gun there. You're gonna notice this subtle signal of danger from him, that this person came from some places, right? It is not childish to be mysterious. And don't talk about the things, because people will just randomly envy you. It's very feminine to envy other people. If you, as a guy, if you envy and get jealous from your friends and get jealous from your brothers, your family, you're not even a man. I don't even consider you a philosopher. I don't even consider you a man, because it is not a masculine trait to be jealous from other people, but it is masculine trait to literally accept jealousy. If you accept jealousy with an open heart, believe me, the universe works like this. If you accept jealousy with an open heart, God is gonna give you more. Why? Because God is divine. And when a man acts big, God loves it. Because he is divine. He knows a man is going against his nature. He's accepting envy, he's accepting jealousy. And God will give you more. God will give you more. The universe will give you more. The third and the last thing that we're gonna discuss is just, living out of every emotion, just, doing what feels right at a right moment. For example, the life goes on for everyone. Universe is gonna someday forget who you were. Universe is gonna someday forget that you were even born. Life is gonna go the way it is. And you're gonna fade into memories. Not even your family would realize who the fuck you were. But at least try to do something. Even if it doesn't happen, try to do something that the world remembers you for 100 fucking years. Like, I am gonna name certain people in this modern era that did something like this. Elon Musk, yeah, he did a lot. People are gonna remember him for 100 days. But as good as bad, that's a separate thing. There will be several criminals like Jeffrey Dahmer. People are gonna remember him for 100 years. And for bad, obviously, he was a, I don't know what he was, but he was a big criminal. People are gonna remember bad for him. I know it is very hard to do things that are that big that people remember you for 100 years. But if you even don't try to do things like that, if you even don't try, then you are at fault. Then there is something wrong with you. But if you try, like doing something big, bigger than yourself, bigger than the universe, like people are gonna like remember you for 1,000 fucking years, then you actually tried. It's not your fault. You did whatever was in your limits, okay? And you just like lived like a fucking philosopher. It was 100% good life. But if you didn't even try changing something in your life, if you just live life like a random person, if you just live life on your bed and never even thought of that change, I don't consider you a proper, like, a proper powerful person right now. Like, for example, what the fuck was wrong with Alexander the Great? Like, we're talking about big people right now. Nothing. He had two legs, two strong arms, and that's it. A mind, maybe less intelligent than yours, and world still remembers him. Why can't it be you? And why don't you even try? Live life like an unordinary person, like a live life like someone who's just very weird than others. Live life like someone who just knows a lot but still is like a kind of like motherfucker who's just separated from the rest of the group, because that's the motive to life. It's not about like just revolving into the universe. It's not about just living. It's about experiencing, and that is the most important thing. If you don't experience your life well, if you do not like understand this universe, I like am absolutely sad for you, because life is just not you being born. Life is, yeah, a big universe was created and you are the part of it. You have to experience almost subtle every moment that is there for you to experience, and experience it with full might. Embody your philosophy. Do not talk about bullshit. Talk things that make sense. Do things that make sense. And thank you for watching till the end. This is the video that I was referring to. If you want to watch that, you're welcome.